Hello, today we're going to go through how to make some maps for Rogaines. I'll take you through the simple workflow today. So first we go to the Queensland Rogaine website. That's qldrogaine.asn.au. We go to the resources page, which is in the volunteer menu. And on here there's a lot of checklists and guides. The mapping information is in the guides and checklists area, and we click on map making information. So today we're going to do the simple maps workflow. This is when you don't need a custom built map. It's mainly for metro gains. You might find it handy for some short bush rogaines, and especially good for when you just want to do some course scouting, or you want to make a quick easy map of an area that you're interested in using for an event. Try this method. The website we use is called Open Orienteering Map. It's a free open source project. David Dixon is looking after it at the moment, so we have been donating money to David to keep it going. So if you do use this for an event, make sure you budget in a donation for David. So we click on that, and you immediately come to the web service. It's centered on Brisbane by default, according to that link that you followed from the website. But you can zoom into wherever you want. Today I might show how to make a map of Mount Cootha. So if we zoom into that area, you can see that by default the 5 meter LiDAR contours come on automatically. There are a few different contour options. If you can get it, LiDAR is obviously the best. But if you haven't got LiDAR in a certain area, you can use one of these other options. Just bear in mind that if you use some of them, they might not show up on this preview in the browser. But when you make the PDF version of the map, they will show up. So don't worry too much if you can't see contours when you're just browsing the map. Some of these options won't show the contours as a preview. So we just click in the center of the map we want, and it automatically makes a map window. We can change the scale and therefore the size of the map. We can also change the page size. So just say you want an A3 map at a scale of 1:15,000, then that gives you an area like that. You can also change it to portrait mode or landscape. And then the next step is you can rename the map. So we might want to call it Demo QRA map. And then it's really just a matter of adding on your start and finish location and your control locations. So just say we want to start at the lookout, we can zoom in there and we can put a start location. So when you click on the map, it gives you the option of either a control or a start or a finish and some other features. We're just going to make it a start. By default, it will make it the start and the finish. So if I press OK here, it drops a finish there as well. But if you wanted to finish somewhere else, you could just put another click somewhere and put a finish point, and it will just move the finish point for you. Then you can add your control locations. I'll just add a few for demonstration purposes. So usual scoring convention, the 10s are worth 10, the 20s are worth 20, etc. It doesn't actually matter if you don't click this score option here, because we're not going to be using that score output. It doesn't get picked up by MapRun. So once you've put on all your controls and you're happy, you can also, there's one more option that I should mention, is you can also rotate the map. So just say we want to have some other orientation and not north up. At the moment it's north up. You can quickly change to magnetic north up just by clicking that. But you can also hold down Shift and Alt at the same time, and then click on the mouse and drag to rotate. So that's a good way of getting a different orientation and getting slightly different coverage of the map if you want. So it says it down there, Alt Shift drag to rotate in the bottom corner there. And you can also drop on a GPX file. If you've been out in the field and wanted to show a track for where you've been, you can drag one onto this map and it'll show what the track is. You can choose up here to output the PDF. So we just click Save and get PDF map. Don't worry about that validation error. You can obviously put in race instructions. They don't get picked up by map run though. So we save and get that PDF. It takes a little while to render it. You can then save that wherever you want. I'll just put it in my downloads. And then if you want to then use this map in MapRun, so MapRun is an app for Android and iOS and also Garmin watches that lets you organize Rogaines and do the scoring through the app, which we've been using a lot for short local events, but we also use it for checking controls for large events. So you can go out in the field and you can use it to check your control placement in the field against the event map. So there are some workflows up on the QRA website explaining how to do that. Use MapRun for vetting checkpoint locations. But today we're just going to get the files we need from Open Orienteering Map so that we can then put them into MapRun later. So you've got your demonstration PDF map. That looks good. We're happy with that. So then we save it also as a KMZ file. Now that is a Google Earth format, and what it is an image of this map that you can load up in the desktop version of Google Earth to check that it's all correct in terms of the spatial layout of the map, but also we can upload that KMZ file directly to MapRun, and that will give a base map in the background of MapRun in the app. So we save that wherever you want. And then we also save this KML file, which is that's just the checkpoint. So the KMZ was the background map. The KML file is just a markup language version, like a text file version of the coordinates of your controls. So rather than just give it this default Open Orienteering Map label, we might change that to Demo QRA Event. And to save time, we can also put in some codes that MapRun understands, makes it into a scatter course. So we call it PXAS, which means it's a scatter course. And we want to give it a scoring scheme that's consistent with QRA events. Now, if you put in score Q, which is the standard Queensland scoring system for Rogaines, it gives you a penalty of 30 points per minute for every minute late. So we don't want that. We prefer to have our 10 points per minute. So we put in P. That means we have to define the scoring system when we set up MapRun, but it gives us the option of giving a 10-point penalty per minute. So we'll put in score P, and we'll put in 90 as the number of minutes. So this would be a 90-minute course, but you could put in 600 there if you wanted, like a 10-hour course, for example, or 300 for a 5-hour course, that sort of thing. So save that. So now you have the 3 files that you need to run an event or to check the control locations for an event. The KML file, which is just the checkpoints, the KMZ, which is the background map, and the PDF. Now, if you want to come back to this map and edit it later, there's a way to save it for later. This code, 684B93DAAC183, that's a that's a code that uniquely references this map. So if we copy that code, you can get it from the PDF, for example. So if we open up the PDF and we get the code down here, we can copy that. Then we can go back to the website, and even if we've gone somewhere else in the meantime, we can come back to the map by putting in that code. So if we go now, open orienteering map, and we paste in that code, we get our map back. So that's it. You could then go in and add extra controls or move them around or do whatever you need. So I think that's all we need to cover today. That's a basic way to get a map and KMZ and KML files for MapRun. Hope that was helpful, and contact us at support@qldrogaine.asn.au if you need a hand, and we can help you. Thanks.